What is this grassroots? The story is long. Been here with you
to discuss with that. I mean, we were supposed to talk about opposition politics, but I mean, sometimes you just get engrossed in trying to learn from other people's experience. Now that you have moved into the ADC, what are your people saying in the north about Tinubu?
I, as a person, had looked at the north, I looked at the problems, and I looked at the fact that solution to the problems can only be possible if you have the instruments of power and coercion. If you don't control the military, there's no way you can coerce them into doing the right thing with insurgency and bandits, whatever name we like to call them. So it is important that we get the instruments of power as Northerners in the hands of somebody who understands the issues facing us and who will face it headlong and bring a solution to it. That is my position. Now, to do that, we had a group of people who started meeting with like minds. How do we approach this? What is the issue? What are the issues? So we call this Nigerian People's Consultative Political Forum, North, in which almost every significant northern politician that is not in government attends our meetings. The idea is we get together to bring unity to this north. There's disunity among us, and we analyze what is meant by this disunity among us, what are the causes, how do we ameliorate them, and then so we agreed that we must vote en bloc. If we don't vote en bloc, we will not be able to achieve our goals.
So that's the agreement now?
That's our understanding of the way to go. Now, whoever it is that will eventually emerge, we will only support somebody that understands the problems facing the North, and will present them to him.
Either the person is a Northerner or a Southerner, or have you decided it?
Even if he's from heaven. As far as
that was Babachir Lawal, former secretary to the federal government of Nigeria and the chieftain of the African Democratic Congress, telling us Nigerians what the North is looking for in 2027. And he said that the North is looking for solution to northern problems, and that they are looking for somebody who can solve the northern problem. And in his own estimation, for that problem of the North to be solved, in his word, the solution can only be possible if not have the instrument of power and cohesion. If the North has the instrument of power and cohesion, we are going to analyze what that means as the ADC, the platform they have promised to unite. Because we're saying that North is going to vote in bloc. Okay? But he is also telling us that what they are looking for is for the North to have the instrument of power and cohesion. That the solution to the problem of the North is to have the instrument of power and cohesion. And he went on to say that if you control the military, if you don't control the military, there is no way you could be able to coerce them to do the right thing. You cannot be able to make them do the right thing unless you are in control. If you are not in control, you can't coerce them to do the right thing regarding insurgency and banditry. So it is important that the North got the instrument of power. In other words, for you to have the instrument of power and cohesion, it means that North want a northern president, because only the president and commander-in-chief wields the power of the instrument of power and cohesion and be able to direct the military on direction to go in the fight against insurgency and banditry in the north. This is where Babachir Lawal and others in their group are making a mistake. And I do hope that, as he said, that they are going to be reasonable enough to look towards another commander-in-chief who doesn't necessarily have to come from the north. Agreed that Bola Ahmed Tinubu has failed as commander-in-chief to be able to deliver north from each problem. But Bola Ahmed Tinubu did not fail alone. This same instrument of power and cohesion that Babachir Lawal is talking about was held by Muhammad Buhari for 8 years. Let us be clear about this. This instrument of power and cohesion, which he said that is the only what North need to be able to solve the northern problem, was held by Muhammad Buhari between 2015 and 2023. What happened to the security and well-being of Northerners and other Nigerians? Because the idea that northern problem can only be solved by a northern leader or a northern president who wields power of cohesion is not true. Because if it were true, North would not have been in dire strait that they are in today. For the record, over 63,000 people were killed under Muhammad Buhari. Most of those killed were Northerners. There were more people killed under Muhammad Buhari than under Goodluck Jonathan. Now, the reason Jonathan was hated by the North ahead of the 2015 election, one of the reasons they gave was that Jonathan was ineffective in fighting Boko Haram insurgency. That was the sing song. That was what brought Muhammad Buhari to power. Because Muhammad Buhari was seen as a tested war general. That what Nigeria needed was not a civilian commander-in-chief, but a civilian commander-in-chief with a military background. That was what was sold to Nigerians. That Buhari will be able to bring Boko Haram insurgency, ISWAP insurgency, and all kinds of insurgency, both in the north and anywhere in the country. But at that time, the insurgency, the violence in Nigeria was largely a northern affair. But what did we see when Muhammad Buhari became president? Instead of curtailing the insurgency of the Boko Haram and ISWAP, the crisis spread beyond the northeast, that was the epicenter of the Boko Haram insurgency, to the northwest and to the north central. And literally all over the country, was engulfed in one kind of crisis or the other. In other words, Muhammad Buhari, a northerner, wielding the instrument of power and cohesion, putting military people who are largely of northern extraction in all the arms of the armed forces, from the National Intelligence Agency to DSS to NIA to the police to the heads of the army, navy, air force, everything was this power of coercion was given to Muhammad Buhari, and he put his people totally in control of all the security apparatus. Yet, by the time Buhari was leaving, over 14 local governments in his own Katsina state were under the occupation of bandits. It therefore shows that the solution to the northern insecurity is not having a northern commander-in-chief as the solution. The solution is to have a commander-in-chief who will be able to have the capacity to do the right thing. And that person, as far as the rotational arrangement of the presidency is concerned, that person has to come from southern Nigeria. While we agree that Tinubu himself has failed, because while 63,000 people, 63,111 people were killed under Buhari in 8 years, far more people have been killed under Bola Ahmed Tinubu, thereby indicating that insecurity has gotten worse under Tinubu. But that is not a justification to say that the solution to the insecurity in the north is to hurriedly return power to the north in 2027, when the north ought to be patient to wait for 2031, when it will be their turn to produce a president. In the video you watched, Babachir Lawal talked about those who have shown interest to run for the presidency under the ADC platform, or the African Democratic Congress platform. And he mentioned Peter Obi, mentioned Chibuike Amaechi, mentioned Atiku Abubakar. Of the three of them, Atiku Abubakar ought not to be in that list at all, knowing fully well that they have to wait, ought to wait for their turn in 2031. But he's there anyway. Now you have Amaechi and Peter Obi. Peter Obi has shown that he understands the northern problem, and that the northern problem is not just merely a question of using coercion, which he has also admitted that he is ready to go to war with the bandits and the insurgents, but that the root cause of the northern insurgency is lack of productivity being put to the vast land of northern Nigeria, which he has described as the gold mine of Nigeria, yet untapped. One of the assets he already has blueprint of turning into enormous economic resources for Nigeria, far bigger than the oil sector. So Peter Obi ought to be considered by the northern leaders. Buhari has done his own, because we are basing this position on what Babachir Lawal said, that what North is looking for is to be in control of power and the instrument of cohesion, so that they can coerce the military to do the right thing on insurgency and banditry. But they held this power for 8 years under Buhari. Insurgency didn't get solved as a problem. It persisted and got to the level where even Buhari's home state of Katsina had over 14 local governments under different control of bandits. Which means that what is needed is a committed leader, irrespective of where he comes from. But in this case, under our rotational presidency, there is someone who is from the south who can do a better job than Tinubu, and that person is Peter Obi. They should give him a chance. And it was because of respect for the zonal arrangement that Peter Obi has made a vow that he is going to do only one term, to give way for the North to take over power in 2031. So Babachir Lawal and his group and all these northern people who are insisting that the solution to the northern problem is to have a northern power grab in 2027, that is not the solution. Because if it were the solution, Buhari would have brought permanent end to the issue of insurgency and banditry in the north, but he didn't. So what Babachir Lawal should be doing is to mobilize his people in ADC and the northern people in general, because he said the north is planning to vote in block vote, to be able to chase out Tinubu in 2027. They need a certain candidate who can do a better job than Tinubu. And I think, from my understanding, from the way I have studied Peter Obi and his commitment to the North as part of the solution to Nigeria's general problem, he should be trusted. Even Babachir Lawal himself campaigned for Peter Obi in 2023. And he had boldly said it everywhere you asked him that Peter Obi won. Why can't he back Peter Obi to repeat the same magic of 2023? This time the votes will be defended better than it was done in 2023. I don't know what to think about Babachir Lawal's position of what the North want, and why what the North should be looking for is a Peter Obi who is going to do a different thing from what they used to have. Because it was Albert Einstein that described insanity as doing the same thing all over and expecting a different result. Atiku, Abubakar, another northerner, is not the solution. That would be what Albert Einstein called insanity. But whatever is your position, let's hear from you at the comment section. Thank you for watching this video. And if you are new to my channel, you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel, hit the subscription button, hit the notification bell. When you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, anytime I have a new video, you'll be among the first to know. God bless you. And please don't forget to like this video, because when you like it, God will rank it high and recommend it for more people. Thank you, and God bless you and yours.